We all know that Genshin Impact is a game based on different real-life cultures, but did you know the weapons and fighting styles used by our favorite characters are also historically accurate to the cultures they were based on? Starting off with Natlan, you're probably wondering why Natlanese warriors use this weird chainsaw-looking club. Well, this is because it was based on the Macahuitl, a weapon adorned with obsidian blades used by the Aztec and Mayan civilizations that inspired most of Natlan's lore. These blades weren't just used to kill, but also to injure an enemy enough to sacrifice them later. But a huge part of Natlan is also inspired by the Polynesians, such as Mualani and her people of the springs, which I explained in my previous video here. This may explain why many Natlanese weapons look like they use teeth rather than smooth blades. This could also explain why, as her tribe's chosen warrior, Mualani also surfs on a shark-shaped surfboard, as surfing was a sport used to train warriors in some Polynesian countries. Xilonen, on the other hand, is a blend of Mexican and Brazilian culture, which is why her kicks resemble an Afro-Brazilian martial art called capoeira, which was concealed as a traditional dance to defy the Portuguese slave traders that banned martial arts among the African Brazilian slaves who created it. Going to Sumeru, I explained in my other videos how this country was based on a mixture of Persian, Arab, Indian, and North African, which is where its weapons also come from. Notice how Sumerian swords seem curvier than other ones across Teyvat. That's because they were based on the Persian Shamshir or Samser. This is probably why Nilu's main sword attack is called Dance of Samser, likely referencing a real Persian sword dance, and why my local Persian restaurant in LA is called Shamshiri Grill. Aramite enchanters, meanwhile, used curved Egyptian swords called a kopesh, while Aramite clearwaters, like Jet, use an Indian bladed gauntlet called a katar, which fits if you ask me, since Jet's last name is also Indian. Fontanians, meanwhile, use guns as it fits their French and Western European inspiration. Cloran's pistol looks like a French flintlock pistol, and also an English dueling pistol. Meanwhile, Chevress's musket is originally from Spain. However, our favorite French policewoman could be referencing the famous French musketeers of the Guard, who inspired Fontaine's own Maison Gardiennage. Lastly, Inazuma's Japanese-inspired samurai weapons, like katanas, are pretty obvious, but it's deeper than that. You see, katanas that inspired swords like the Musono Ishin were really a sidearm to samurai, as they mainly used longer-ranged weapons on the battlefield, like spears and bows. This may explain why martial artists like A use a pole arm as her main weapon instead of a sword. Enemy Inazuman samurai that use gunpowder weapons are also pretty accurate, as after contact with the Portuguese, real-life samurai did in fact use matchlock guns. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to follow for more cultural and historical analyses of Genshin Impact lore, and also to check out my 1-hour Fontaine documentary too.
Inazuma Shine Citenal